In the bustling streets and shadowed alleys of ancient Rome, life was a tapestry of the unexpected. Beyond the grand politics and gladiatorial games, the eternal city thrived on a mosaic of peculiar professions, each as strange as the next. Imagine a world where collectors crouch in doorways, anticipating a stream of public need, where mourners for hire wail theatrically amidst silent families, where secret messages travel on the warmed sandals of sly youths. Listen closely. Let the distant echoes of cast-off customs and curious livelihoods pull you in. This is Rome as you've never glimpsed. Raw, intriguing, and undeniably human. Imagine stepping back into the bustling streets of ancient Rome, where the ordinary act of relieving oneself transforms into a vital cog in the city's bustling life. Picture the polished cobblestones reflecting the afternoon sun, a chorus of street vendors hawking their wares, and the tantalising aroma of freshly baked bread mingling with the echoes of a hammer from a nearby blacksmith. It is here, amidst the vibrant cityscape, that we encounter the peculiar figure of the urine collector, a person whose livelihood depended quite literally on the relief of others. In a society where nothing went to waste, even human urine found its place as an essential resource, underpinning the laundry trade that kept Rome's garments spotless. The tale of biology turning into economy reveals a world where necessity gave birth to ingenious opportunity. Rome's layout was as strategic as it was functional, with public latrines, communal restrooms strategically scattered across the city, offering convenience and business potential alike. These restrooms, positioned under insular stairwells or by crowded street corners, were as much a testament to Roman design as they were to their ingenuity. Urine, collected for its ammonia content, served as a powerful cleaning agent for the Phallones, or Roman launderers. Hovering nearby, jars in hand, these collectors stood ready for what others might dismiss as waste. This raw material turned essential, embodied Rome's ethos: waste not, want not. Envision the densely packed insula, Rome's answer to modern apartments, filled with people from all walks of life. Amidst their hurried daily routines, few would notice the humble Urinator crouched with clay jars, capturing what hurried passers-by offered. To our modern sensibilities, this might seem odd, but in ancient Rome, it was simply another thread in the intricate tapestry of city life. These collectors worked diligently, turning what might seem worthless into a commodity of substantial worth. For many living in the shadows of poverty, the resourcefulness of the Urinatores highlighted Roman adaptability, a survival mechanism that echoed through the crowded living quarters. On the street corners, the scene was equally intriguing. Here was a crossroads of vendors, artisans and citizens going about their daily business, where urine collectors quietly engaged in their unique trade. As people dashed through these bustling intersections, it wasn't unusual to see them pause at designated spots to relieve themselves, unknowingly fueling a humble yet profitable enterprise. The very act demonstrated a masterful orchestration of urban life, where even mundane human actions served a greater economic purpose. Positioned strategically in high-traffic areas, the Urinatores ensured a steady supply for their clients. The Phallones who relied on them to sustain their meticulous cleansing work. To grasp the vital role of these collectors, one must appreciate the Phallones' place in Roman society. These launderers wielded ammonia-rich urine with skill, maintaining the integrity of garments from everyday togas to the opulent robes of Rome's elite. Long before modern detergents, ammonia's power to strip oils and dirt marked a cleaning method far beyond its time. Without this humble supply from the Urinatories, the full owner's industry would falter, rippling through the very fabric of Roman daily life. This collaboration, out of necessity, showcased a complex economy, a symbiotic relationship where the exchange of resources supported a thriving cultural identity. Emperor Vespasian immortalised the significance of urine's role in Rome through economic strategy. Known for stabilising Rome's finances during tumultuous times, he taxed this liquid gold, adding a unique stream of income to the state coffers. Vespasian's dictum, pecunia non olet, money doesn't stink, captured the essence of Roman pragmatism, turning an unlikely resource into fiscal gain. His tax exemplified the empire's ability to convert simple human acts into complex economic structures, establishing legal recognition for the urinators while further entwining them into Rome's economic web. Here, Roman society recalibrated its perceptions of value, demonstrating how no resource, however ordinary, escaped the net of exploitation. Public toilets, beyond their primary role, highlighted a fusion of convenience, economy, and societal health. Designed to maintain city cleanliness, they also supported a thriving trade network. In these shared latrines, a convergence of activity unfolded, with every visitor unknowingly part of a larger transaction that sustained both collectors and the empire's coffers. Even in their crude appearance, these facilities played a pivotal role in a delicate urban balance. The urine trade, transcending class boundaries, wove through Rome's social fabric, creating a shared reliance on this unexpected commodity. For the lower classes, involvement in its collection provided a straightforward path to economic stability. A job accessible to all, with no need for training beyond entrepreneurial spirit. In contrast, the full-owns catered to society's upper echelons, dictating fashion and norms, thriving on a continuous cycle of garment renewal. Regardless of their role, all were interwoven into a network of pungent opportunity, illuminating the interconnectedness of Roman daily life. In exploring the world of the urine collectors, we unveil a practice fused with deep social and economic roots. Their story reminds us of the remarkable capacity of human societies to innovate and adapt, finding value in the unexpected. This piece of Roman history whispers through time, casting echoes that invite us into the intricate dance of human ingenuity and resilience, bridging the ordinary with the extraordinary. In the heart of ancient Rome, where social status was everything, the streets often echoed with the wails of professional mourners, the Preakai. It was a time when showing grief was as much about public perception as it was about personal loss. Wealthy families hired these mourners to ensure funerals were suitably grand spectacles. The Preakai transformed sorrow into a haunting form of performance art, their cries mingling with the scent of incense and candle wax, creating a vivid tableau of grief for the living to witness. In an era when the public display of emotion was carefully curated, the presence of professional mourners was never questioned. The louder and more dramatic the lamentations, the higher the honour bestowed upon the deceased. Amidst the clamour, their voices told stories of loss that freed the family from the raw exposure of personal sorrow in public view. These women, with their practiced wails and ritualistic chest beating, symbolised the weight of the family's grief, their cries serving as both tribute and theatrical flourish. The duties of a praefica extended beyond melodrama. Clad in solemn attire, often black or shrouded in dark veils, they led funeral processions and guided mourners in songs of sorrow. Their performances combined elements of poetry and song, intertwining mythical tales with the deceased's legacy to enrich the narrative. Understanding each life story was crucial, requiring collaboration with the family to ensure authenticity and respect in every lament. Rome's lawmakers eventually noticed the increasingly lavish nature of these funerals. The professional mourners' extravagant displays risked public disorder and signalled a shift from sincere mourning to spectacle. Concerned with maintaining social order, legislators regulated funeral practices, setting limits on both the number of mourners and the volume of public grief. Such measures reflected an ongoing struggle within Roman society to balance historical rituals with evolving public standards. Within this fiercely competitive arena, the most skilled Preakai could command impressive fees. Each mourner competed not only with their vocal abilities, but also with their talent to capture the crowd, much like actors who held their audience spellbound. Their itinerant lifestyle attracted many, drawing individuals eager for financial stability and those seeking transient opportunities. Success in this field was determined by one's ability to amplify emotion and engage the audience, often earning bonuses for those who mastered the art. Among the ranks of these mourners were legendary figures whose reputations echoed across Rome. Names like Vibia Calva and Aquilia Aemilia became synonymous with the art of mourning. Chroniclers and poets alike documented the poignant fervour of their performance, akin to revered actors on a grand stage. These women were mired in myth, celebrated for their capacity to transform funerals into cultural events, stirring emotions with words woven from personal agony and public history. Most Praefiki hailed from the lower strata of Roman society, where economic necessity drove them to this unique career. Without the need for formal education, the role offered women a chance to achieve autonomy through raw talent in drama and empathy. The skills were passed down through oral tradition, honed at countless funerals as apprentices learned to balance dramatic flair with genuine emotion. Despite the profession's instability, adept mourners found financial independence in a society notoriously strict with social mobility. Funerary traditions in Rome were deeply intertwined with their spiritual beliefs. Death was seen as a transition that needed careful navigation to the afterlife. These mourners served as intermediaries, their performances soothing both the spirits of the lost and the hearts of those left behind. Romans believed that the echoes of their lament reached the world beyond, keeping the memory and honour of ancestors alive. Such rituals were not only about personal grief, but also about reinforcing societal connections and spiritual continuity. This intricate interweaving of mourning in Roman culture has been immortalised in ancient literature and art. Writers such as Petronius and Lucan captured the vivid drama of Roman funerals, underscoring the significance of the mourners within the grand theatre of Roman public life. Art too contributed to this narrative, depicting intricate mourning scenes that highlighted both individual and communal expressions of loss. Such portrayals reflect the deeper cultural values and emotional richness of these customs, cementing their place in the cultural tapestry of ancient Rome. The professional mourning trade carries an intriguing irony, a society clinging to tradition while pragmatically reshaping its expressions of grief. This balance between genuine sorrow and ritual performance was emblematic of Rome's eternal tension between authenticity and artifice. This profession, despite its inherent paradoxes, provided a window into the past, revealing how Romans navigated the complexities of social expectation. Though we live centuries apart, the legacy of Rome's funerary traditions persists, echoing in our own customs. While modern practices may differ, the desire to honour the deceased with formal rites and public remembrance remains a constant, linking us across the ages. Even today, the interplay between collective obligation and individual grief continues, forever tying us with the ancients in our shared human journey through life's final act. In the grand tapestry of ancient Rome, where intrigue and treachery wove through the daily life of the elite, the role of a food taster emerged as a critical lifeline. It wasn't merely a job, but an indispensable shield against the ever-present spectre of assassination by poison. A threat that lingered like a thief in the shadows of the emperor's banquet hall. Originating from the courts of early emperors, the use of a taster was a pragmatic response to the paranoia that threatened the high corridors of power. As Roman appetites for both conquest and culinary delight expanded, poisons, the silent, insidious weapon, became the unseen daggers hidden within lavish dishes seasoned with exotic spices. For those presiding over an empire held together by fragile alliances, the food taster was a sentinel, standing between life and the silent killer, lurking in an ornate goblet. Taster slaves embodied a paradox. It was their remarkable senses, able to discern a deadly nuance in a dish, that put them at risk while simultaneously making them invaluable. These individuals were caught in a precarious dance with fate, a performance where each meal could be their last. Recruited from the ranks of the enslaved, their journey into this life often began abruptly. Prisoners of war or individuals sold into servitude found themselves thrust into a role where survival meant a mixture of courage and a macabre acceptance of possible doom. Initial training involved sampling non-lethal poisons to build resilience, a grim rehearsal for the dark theatre that was a Roman banquet. Surviving the training was just the beginning. Their days were marked by rituals echoing Rome's obsession with ceremony and order. From dawn, the taster slid seamlessly into the clockwork of the villa, an unassuming figure among the bustle of household staff. As chefs nodded in silent acknowledgement, they would step forward to receive the inaugural morsel of the meal, a visual assurance to both the kitchen and nervously watching dignitaries that their safety was literally a mouthful away. The moments that followed were tense. The world seemed to hold its breath as the minutes ticked by. The swallowing of a taster was like a prayer filmed in slow motion. Each meal a moment suspended between relief and the unknown. For the taster, life was a constant gamble. Mithridatism, the art of ingesting small amounts of poison to build a sort of immunity, was both a strategy and a desperate hope. Named after Mithridates VI of Pontus, who reportedly became resistant to poisons through such a method, it offered a temporary shield within which the taster could find a modicum of safety. But this was fraught with danger. Many succumbed to the very toxins meant to be their salvation, and success required not only physical endurance, but psychological resilience. Each taster danced with fate daily, every meal a silent wager with the heavens. For Roman elites, employing a taster was more than practical. It was a statement of wealth and status. The taster was a buffer, a flesh and blood signature of the lengths to which power would go to preserve itself. In a world fraught with silent threats, the taster became emblematic of survival, a testament to the tangled relationship between wealth, fear, and the macabre dance of death and duty. Despite their anonymity, some tasters etched their names into the fragmented annals of history. Figures like Marcella, a reputed woman taster, became legends in their own right, shrouded in tales of near misses and uncanny toxin detection. While historical records blur where truth meets myth, their stories remind us of courage, forged in the crucible of Roman political life, and reflect an era where the line between life and death was crossed over a simple meal. As the empire gradually fell, reeling from internal turmoil and external pressures, the necessity of tasters too began to wane. Political transitions ushered in new methods. Alchemical advancements and culinary isolation meant poisons became less practical, diminishing the need for these human shields. Though the Empire's reliance on tasters faded, their legacy remains, a testament to human resilience and the strategies we devise against unseen threats. In today's world, modern professions dedicated to taste and safety, food scientists and quality testers, echo this ancient practice. The balance of discernment and danger persists in various forms, a ghostly reflection of Rome's vigilant tasters. As we sip our coffees or share our meals in safety, it's worth sparing a thought for those ancient sentinels whose tongues once stood guard, bridging the precarious gap between an emperor and eternity. In their silent vows of service, they left a legacy that shadows the annals of history, a whisper of that gritty, strange dance with death over Roman feasts. In the nooks and crannies of Rome's vibrant streets, where the day's bustling life gives way to shadows, an intriguing spectacle unfolds. Here, timeless statues stand like sentinels, whispering secrets of a bygone era. These relics, once symbols of Roman grandeur, have degraded over the ages, their features softened by the tick of time. Yet, their role has transformed. They have become silent bearers of clandestine messages. By night, under the moon's gentle glow, these figures cast enigmatic shadows exuding an aura of mystery. Citizens converge at these statues, drawn by the allure of anonymity in a city that offers scant privacy. Scribbled notes, threats and confessions are left at their feet, turning these stone giants into veritable bulletin boards of secrets and satire. The origins of this practice run deep in Rome's cultural tapestry, tracing back to a rich tradition of using public platforms to voice defiance. In a city where powerful orators once swayed the masses and poets critiqued rulers with biting prose, these statues now offer a discreet outlet. Pasquino, the most famous of these figures, stands eroded by history, yet he remains potent as a medium for the discontented. The common folk, cautious of repercussions, found solace in these stone allies, which allowed them to circumvent censors' reach. Even as authorities feigned indifference, their anger simmered beneath the surface. Amidst this clandestine ballet, a curious profession emerged: the Whispering Statue's Keeper. This individual, shrouded by night, prowls the city's alleys with stealth. Their role is to retrieve these pinned messages before the sun unveils them to unwelcome eyes. Neither spy nor scholar, they are collectors of secrets, navigating the delicate web of whispers that ripple through Rome. Employed by those in power, they help piece together the city's unspoken truths. These keepers, though rarely recognised in the public eye, hold great sway in the shadowy dance of politics and power. As midnight blankets the city, the keeper sets forth. Clad in unassuming attire, they glide through the labyrinthine streets, calculating each step, and turn to avoid watchful guards or curious wanderers. Rome's sprawling network of alleys becomes their ally and adversary, offering refuge and setting traps alike. Each statue is a waypoint in this nocturnal journey, familiar territory mapped out by the rhymes of risk and reward. Arriving at a statue, The keeper pauses to ensure solitude, absorbing the subtle symphony of the night. Confident in their seclusion, they retrieve the notes pinned to the statue with deliberate care. Every piece of parchment is a piece of the city's soul, a tapestry of voices woven in political critique, personal grievances, humour, and whim. The keeper mentally catalogues these murmured messages, gauging the pulse of public opinion, etched into each hurriedly scrawled line. The web of statues that spans Rome forms a clandestine network, with Marforio, Madama Lucrezia, and others joining Pasquino. Operating much like an old-world postal service, these silent figures facilitate communication across a city teeming with secrets. Though separated by distance and district, these statues stand united, drawing the populace to them under the cover of night. They exchange thoughts, fears and desires, an underground river of communication that flows beneath Rome's surface splendour. For the ordinary Roman, engaging with this web required courage. These statues offered refuge and risk in equal measure, promising anonymity but threatening exposure. In a world where allegiance shifted like sand, maintaining a secret identity was a privilege few could afford. Yet the allure of this forum proved irresistible. Against a backdrop of social disparity and authority's tight grip, the statues allowed voices to challenge and mock without immediate retaliation. Citizens bound in their shared grievances found silent camaraderie in their covert contributions to these stone forums. Within the corridors of power, these notes held immense value, feeding the relentless machine of political manoeuvring. Rulers and senators, aware of the potency of public sentiment, leveraged these messages to sway politics, incite alliances, or settle age-old scores. In this arena, anonymity provided deniability and protection, as missives carried through the statues straddled the line between harmless jest and potential peril. Despite attempts by authoritarian rulers to dismantle this network, the whispering statues endured. As Rome's destiny ebbed and flowed, so too did their prominence as keepers of collective expression. Even in the face of oppression, the voices that carved their place into stone persisted, a testament to Rome's indomitable spirit. Today, these statues stand as silent echoes of an age when secrets were left in the care of stone. They remind us of a timeless struggle for free expression, of resilience grounded in Rome's vibrant heart, still capable of whispering stories to those who stop to listen. In the bustling heart of ancient Rome, a marvel of engineering snaked its way through the city, an intricate network of aqueducts furnishing this epicentre with fresh, life-sustaining water. These conduits, both majestic and functional, mastered the art of Roman architecture and an unwavering commitment to public health. They were vital, winding arteries, diligently pumping the lifeblood that sustained Rome's burgeoning populace. It's easy to romanticise the grandeur of these structures, but often forgotten are the people who ensured their seamless operation. Hidden figures in history called the castellum servi, or reservoir slaves. These aqueduct divers, often relegated to the shadows of grand historical tales, held a critical yet underappreciated role. Without their efforts, Rome's majestic water flow would falter. The demand for their skills arose not from convenience, but necessity, marking them as indispensable cogs in the city's vast machinery, albeit ones tethered to the lower echelons of society. And it was into the darkened entrails of the city's waterworks that these men descended daily, embracing the dangers of their subterranean realm. Lured by the promise of work, many of these divers came from backgrounds steeped in hardship, slaves or low-status freemen seeking a toll booth to subsistence. They underwent rigorous training, honing skills essential for survival in the waterlogged veins of the city. Rather than elevated by status, they were chosen for their agility and hardiness, proving that practical demands often trump societal hierarchy. Each diver's physique was his merit badge, a passport into a world where conventional social stratification ceased to matter. A dive began with rituals akin to farewells to the living. Prayers whispered, tears shed, bearing witness to the hazards ahead. Into the cool embrace of the water they would plunge, their senses immediately assailed by the icy tendrils creeping through cracks in their determination. The darkness enveloped them like a weighted cloak, where every breath echoed with uncertainty, and the black maw of the aqueducts threatened to swallow them whole. For these men, the boundary between two worlds was not merely geographic but visceral, transitioning from the light-infused bustle of Rome's streets to the murk and mystery below. Their tools were humble, a length of rope, a hooked implement, but in the divers' hands they became instruments of life and death, binding them to a world they could no longer see. The divers relied on a rudimentary but vital system of signals to communicate with those above, a lifeline to the surface world. Navigating silt, persistent roots and debris required a nimble dexterity that bordered on the artistic, as if each underwater struggle was a dance with the hidden. Yet missteps here could easily tip into the tragic. The realm below was fraught with peril, sudden floods, structural collapses, and the labyrinthine grip of unseen corridors posed threats that transformed these workers into accidental gladiators, battling the elements. The chilling reality of one's own mortality haunted them with each descent, where a single slip might extinguish their laborious breath amidst the aquatic shadows. Yet tales of adventures survived, and calamities tempered with courage peppered their ranks, becoming whispered legends among those who dared dive again. The most haunting sacrifices were those of the lost ones, the divers who slipped from history's grasp, drowned or vanished in the unseen bowels of Rome. Here lay the silent toll of Rome's water supply, where familial grief joined collective anonymity. While some might have a final resting place, remembered and mourned, others merely disappeared, their fates sealed in silence. Their sacrifices, both acknowledged and otherwise, underscored a sombre truth. The maintenance of Rome's aquatic heartbeat came at a price. In the grand narrative of Rome, the labour of the aqueduct divers went largely unseen, their societal contribution unrecognised. While Rome drank from their toil daily, the divers existed in the shadowlands of necessity and expendability. This paradox mirrored today's essential workers, whose lives remain overshadowed by the ubiquity of their contributions. Despite the omnipresence of their labour's fruit, their personal stories echoed like whispers, lost in the corridors of time. The diver's legacy wove itself into the fabric of Roman lore, birthing tales that blurred lines between caution and folklore. It was said the spirits of drowned divers haunted the aqueducts, underscoring the mystic allure of these ancient channels and casting their labour in hues of both reverence and fear. Such tales added a layer of complexity to Roman society, entwining myth with reality in a cultural tapestry where stories served as both entertainment and moral compass. Though their lives were subsumed in darkness, the echoes of these divers continued into the annals of hydraulic engineering, their clandestine struggles forming the bedrock of practices that influenced Renaissance aqueduct construction and beyond. The unseen labour that sustained Rome mirrored the hidden machinations that uphold modern society, urging a deeper gratitude and remembrance toward those who work tirelessly beneath our gaze. And so the aqueduct divers of ancient Rome tell a story of persistence and peril, where heroism unfolded not on grand stages, but in claustrophobic tunnels of muddy water. Through their story, we revisit the unsung narratives of history, learning to appreciate the unseen threads that have always bound society's fabric, silently unyielding and unending in their quiet strength. In the opulent marble halls of Rome's elite society, a young figure flits silently from shadow to shadow, the slipper boy. This role in the household may seem modest, almost trivial, but it carries a significance known only to those tangled in the intricate web of Roman life. Often no older than 12 or 13, these boys are selected for their quick wits and nimble feet, embodying a curious blend of domestic worker and secret keeper. Tasked with the seemingly simple duty of ensuring his master's sandals remain warm and worn in, the slipper boy becomes an indispensable presence, dancing on the fringes of his master's life. Beyond this practical task lies an intimacy reserved for a trusted few. The slipper boy, often a messenger between secret lovers, navigates the bustling streets, weaving through the hustle and bustle, carrying whispered words and clandestine stories. This dual role as keeper of comfort and confidant cast him into a niche precarious yet essential, straddling the fine line between servant and silent ally. In Rome, footwear symbolises more than luxury. It represents comfort, status and precise etiquette. Sandals, seemingly simple, yet subtly complex, demand unique care. The slipper boy, by keeping these leather pieces warm and supple, becomes a guardian of comfort. For the Roman elite, a cold sandal shocks the senses, disrupting the harmony and decorum essential on the societal stage. Warm sandals whisper status and affluence, a minor luxury reflecting a life meticulously curated. As a walking emblem of their master's influence, the slipper boy silently embodies a social currency steeped in the aesthetics of composure and prestige. Yet his responsibilities delve deeper as he skillfully navigates the labyrinth of intrigue and intimacy among Rome's aristocracy. Discreetly ferrying messages between lovers, he grasps the nuances of secrecy and guile, dexterously avoiding the spotlight that could unravel the delicate balance of trust placed upon him. His presence in the world of subterfuge makes him vulnerable, yet invaluable, bearing witness to stolen glances and clandestine meetings that fill the air with tension and anticipation. Garments and accessories in Roman society speak of wealth, power, and heritage, with sandals at the cultural touchpoint of sophistication. The slipper boy, tending to these symbols of status, enriches the master's projection of wealth and dominance. Beyond simple servitude, these boys become custodians of cultural significance, bearing more than warmth. They carry symbols of lineage, alliances, and unspoken hierarchies. In a sprawling empire, relationships deeply govern social interactions. The slipper boy's youthful acumen offers rare connections, weaving through society's interstices with grace and agility. By bridging elite circles and bustling streets, he absorbs Rome's varied societal pulse, a silent observer straddling worlds both luxurious and humble. His trusted position offers a fleeting glimpse into the layers of Roman narratives, showing how lives intertwine in unexpected ways. These young couriers of warmth and secrecy symbolise discretion and loyalty, qualities as golden as Etruscan jewellery. Insulated within their master's confidences, they balance the myriad webs of secrets and expectations. Invisible in their roles, yet pivotal, slipper boys become living chronicles of their masters' lives, emblems of trust capable of navigating the societal complexities and currents of influence. Within Latin literature, slippers often appear in subversive context, reflecting a society rich in dualities where mundane tasks harbour cosmic importance. The poet Martial, with humour and poignancy, comments on their duties, encapsulating Roman life's peculiarity where the small reflects the grand. In literature and oral tradition, slipper boys emerge as enigmatic figures, their understated roles echoing across epochs, highlighting the nuances of power and identity. Their relationship with masters extends beyond mere service, evolving and often deepening over time. While some attain freedom, others become trusted retainers, their influence subtly coursing through Rome's societal fabric. Every annexed whisper contributes to Rome's rich tableau, a city bustling with entrepreneurial spirit and stark realities. As history marches on, the voices of slipper boys grow faint, yet echoes of their existence persist in artifacts and forgotten texts. Though largely invisible in accounts, they leave traces like ancient footprints in our collective memory. Each relic offers insights into their lives, showcasing them as unsung actors in Rome's grand historical tapestry. Today, as we rediscover these unseen figures, the slipper boy emerges as a testament to human resourcefulness. Their quiet service and subtle influence underpin our understanding of ancient Rome, reminding us of the value found in understated roles. In an exploration of history, we honour those who, though occupying the periphery, shape their world's heart and soul. Therein lies their legacy, a silent yet enduring echo across time, revealing the depths of connectivity and continuity in a world both distant and oddly familiar. In the bustling heart of ancient Rome, execution days transformed public squares into theatres of justice. Among the clamour and intensity, there stood a figure whose presence seemed almost unremarkable, but bore immense responsibility: the Execution Timekeeper. This individual, often unnoticed amid the drama, held the weighty duty of ensuring that every death unfolded within the rigid legal parameters of the time. With a slow trickling of sand through an hourglass, this role underscored not just the precision of Roman justice, but its peculiar reliance on ritual. In lesser-known arenas scattered across Rome, where life ebbed and flowed with a vigorous pulse, people gathered to witness the enactment of justice. Not merely acts of punishment, these executions were public affirmations of Roman order, designed to reinforce power dynamics and societal structures. The timekeeper stood between the crowd's often chaotic energy and the rigid formalities of Roman law. Listen to the murmur of anticipation. Feel the dense sweat-laden air as citizens waited for the spectacle to begin. It was in this charged atmosphere that the timekeeper's purpose crystallised, measuring time with a steady hand, their glass of sand dictating life's expiration. Rome's legal system, rooted in the traditions of the 12 tables and refined through time, was as intricate as it was harsh. Within this framework, the execution timekeeper operated not just as a functionary, but as a guardian of legal propriety. The tools of this trade, a humble sand glass and a wax tablet, though simple, carried the weight of authority. They marked the passage of time with unwavering neutrality, ensuring that each execution aligned with the societal rituals that Rome esteemed so highly. In a culture captivated by both order and spectacle, time encapsulated the tension between the demands of state power and the chaotic will of the masses. From the break of dawn, the timekeeper's day unfolded with a rhythm dictated by precision, synchronizing the sandglass, reviewing lists of the condemned. Each task was a ritual in itself. As the sun's rays danced over ancient stone, and the sounds of vendors and spectators merged into a cacophony, the timekeeper focused solely on his duty. The air hung heavy with anticipation, and even as cries of the condemned occasionally cut through the noise, the timekeeper charted time's inexorable flow, logging confessions with an unerring hand. For the crowd, these events were more than macabre entertainment. They were a testament to Rome's rule of law, woven into the fabric of everyday life and echoed through its streets. The crowd's mood was a volatile element in this carefully orchestrated dance between life and death. Too swift a confession might provoke unrest, while one stretching on could test the limits of public patience. The timekeeper, therefore, balanced law and appeasement, ensuring smooth transitions between justice's reality and the public's expectation. Tools of his trade, the sand, glass and wax tablet, belied the potency of their function. As simple grains of sand settled, they carried the weight of judgment. The wax tablet, a scribbled record of legal proceedings, preserved the day's events, chronicling both the cries of the condemned and the crowd's shifting temper. These objects were intimate witnesses to the silent pulse of justice, reflecting the heart of a society that yearned for order amidst its brutal reality. Intricately linked to execution days were the confessions, a ritual that bore deep significance. Acknowledging guilt before execution was a time-honoured tradition, intertwining religious beliefs with legal proceedings. The timekeeper's role here was indispensable, guiding last words as they hung in the early morning air, grim rites amid recitations of guilt and acceptance. The whisper of confessions, measured by the hourglass's sands, signified the delicate balance of law and ritual. Managing the crowd during executions required the timekeeper to embody the finesse of a conductor, ensuring each component moved seamlessly. The Romans, acutely aware of the crowd's power, manipulated these proceedings with skill, using precise timing to uphold decorum and maintain order. With vigilant observation, the timekeeper adjusted his timings in real time, responding to public mood and preventing tempers from flaring into chaos. In the tightly packed cityscape, even a hint of scandal or error could ripple quickly through society, potentially igniting unrest that officials were eager to avoid. After the ashes of the execution day settled, the timekeeper's duties shifted from overseeing the spectacle to recording it. Their meticulous accounts, capturing both the legal complexities and the human stories behind each execution, served as a record for magistrates and a basis for future reflection. These records were not mere catalogues of death, but richly textured narratives that offered insights into the mechanics of Roman justice. In these pages, an enduring irony emerged, a society deeply invested in justice, yet reliant on fiercely stark displays of power, revealing the contradictions of Rome's cultural fabric. Through the eyes of the execution timekeeper, the peculiar dance of fairness and brutality was laid bare, leaving a trail of fascination for those reflecting from the vantage point of modernity. The legacy of these timekeepers whispers through history, hinting at a narrative entwined with Rome's grandeur and chaos. By revisiting their stories, we glean insights into a world shaped by routine, ritual, and the inexorable march of time. The execution timekeeper epitomizes the delicate interplay of justice's facade and humanity's enduring complexity, his tale echoing through the ages, a reminder of Rome's persistent struggle between order and its own profound contradictions. Beneath the bustling streets of ancient Rome lay a world often forgotten, a labyrinthine marvel known as the Cloaka Maxima. More than just a sewer, it represented the pinnacle of Roman architectural genius, a testament to the empire's ambition for urban harmony. Born in the 6th century BCE, the Cloaka Maxima began as a simple canal designed to drain Rome's marshlands, but soon evolved into one of the ancient world's most advanced sewage systems. Some say its inception was the work of King Tarquinius Superbus, a stroke of genius attributed to divine inspiration, taking rainwater and refuse relentlessly toward the Tiber River. This network didn't just prevent floods, it secured Roman urbanity and sanitation, marking an engineered leap that remains breathtaking even today. Deep in its shadows, the public slaves known as servi publici toiled. Their lives were inextricably tied to this underground behemoth. These slaves, marked by fate and necessity, began their grueling day well before the city above stirred to life. Their mornings offered woeful banquets, stale bread, watered wine, meagre in sustenance. In silence they donned tunics soaked in olive oil, a modest shield against the suffocating stench and damp chill awaiting them below. Stepping into the subterranean realm, their tools, hooked poles and rudimentary lamps, were humble arsenals against an overwhelming darkness. Above, life hummed with indifference. Below, these men navigated a world where each twist and turn held new hazards. Blockages of refuse, blackened debris, and the occasional animal carcass were familiar foes in their grim journey. Their task, rigorous and often thankless, was inherently dangerous. Within the cavernous expanse, collapsed passages and sudden torrents loomed ever present. Such were the realities of this shadowed underworld, where flowing water could unexpectedly transform into lethal torrents, carrying the unwary into oblivion. Diseases also lurked: tetanus, dysentery, the malaises of muck and mire, threats etched into every furrowed brow. Medicine, a fickle ally at best, seldom ventured into these depths where slaves were often regarded as expendable as their tools. Enclasped in heavy iron collars, these slaves bore a physical mark of their servitude. The collars were both burden and bond, impeding escape as much as they whispered of belonging, a grim trademark on lives defined by subjugation. Yet these plates of iron could not entirely stifle hope. Stories of daring escapes circulated amidst these men. Whispers spread of a brave soul vanishing into Rome's hidden catacombs, emerging as a phantom thorn in Rome's disciplined side. The tales became a tapestry of hope and daring, woven into the very fabric of their existence. Legendary beacons illuminating their otherwise unrelenting toil. Yet above ground, appreciation for their toil was scant. Their work evoked contempt rather than gratitude. Roman society, revelling in its civic pride, preferred to overlook the muddy foundation beneath its polished splendour. The sewers were seen as instruments of impurity, their tenders as reminders of decay. Still, below the disdain resonated growing murmurs of respect, a contradiction fit to raise an ironic grin. From this underappreciated existence emerged whispers spare in humour yet rich in irony. The grand beauty of Rome owed much to these invisible custodians. Over time, changes in Rome's societal framework started to acknowledge the worth embedded in such labour. Discussions on the dignity of work and the acknowledgement of its integral role in society began to surface. The evolution from slavery to compensated labour was slow, but echoed broader shifts within the Roman ethos. Yet for those in the sewer depths, transitions were distant realities, relegated rather than revised. Viewed now as cultural landmarks, Rome's surviving sewers serve as enduring heralds of human ingenuity. Where flickering torches once cast shadows upon stone walls, modern lights now illuminate these ancient conduits as windows into history. In today's light, what once served as mere functional passages gain stature as symbols of human resilience and innovation, drawing visitors eager for a tangible link to antiquity's past grandeur. In reflecting upon Rome's sewer slaves, the lessons emerge vivid, bridging history with an omnipresent whisper to the heart. That beneath the splendour lies testimony to perseverance, an echo projecting itself into our own ever-evolving urban landscapes. As cities contemplate sustainable futures, the narrative of those buried corridors becomes a torch, illuminating the resilience of humanity. Theirs is a legacy of civilization's relentless forward momentum, reminding us of our own journey through time, enduring silently in the dim-lit depths beneath the ancient city's modern breath. In the grand villas of ancient Rome, the art of waking became an exquisite ritual. It was a world where the patricians, those esteemed rulers of Roman society, desired not a rude jolt from slumber, but a gentle rousing. Think of a feather tickler as an artisan, crafting a seamless transition from the shadowy realm of dreams to the bright reality of day. Emerging from centuries-old traditions, this practice unfolded in opulent bedchambers, where the murmur of breathing mixed with whispers of history itself. It was here that the feather tickler, with delicate precision, nudged elite Romans awake with brushes of peacock feathers. Wealthy Romans, keen observers of omens, saw dreams as messages from the gods. Consequently, awakening had to match the serenity of these nocturnal visions. The chosen tool for this task, the peacock feather, a symbol of immortality and a nod to Juno, the goddess watching over Rome's prosperity. This wasn't merely a wake-up call, but an intimate morning ceremony, a delicate dance that melded pragmatism with divine homage, threading together the splendour of dreams with the demands of the day. The feather tickler was more than just a soft hand. They mastered the art of timing and atmosphere. It was crucial not to disturb their patrons too soon, lest they rouse them from joyful dreams, nor too late, risking missed appointments and social sneers. These slaves, ever vigilant, learned to read the signs, subtle changes in breathing or a flicker beneath the eyelids, like conductors navigating a silent symphony, drawn from the ethereal pools of sleep. Here in this realm of shaded eyelids and whispered verses, they were both artists and intuitive guides. Every feather stroke was a note played softly, a caressing lullaby transitioning dreamers into wakefulness. Verses of poetry, echoing the first blush of dawn, were sometimes woven into the performance. Peacock feathers might easily mingle with the softer down of dove or swan, each chosen for its unique message: peace, grace, and effortless elegance. As the sun's first rays cast golden reflections on Roman walls, the feather tickler's silent symphony brought waking comfort to the privileged elite's day. Yet, this gentle role carried its perils. An errant stroke, an ill-timed verse could summon the wrath of a noble, eager to pin blame on the nearest servant. These mornings, although serene, were eye times fraught with risk. For feather ticklers, mornings could begin with harsh rebukes or worse, if a heavy hand disrupted their master's repose. But strategic affection and precisely measured dexterity often elevated them within the household, a perch precarious yet potent in its quiet intimacy. For those who excelled, rewards blossomed. Proximity to power and unbidden access to privileged conversations offered insights into the household. hushed revelations of romances, grudges and secret alliances. Feather ticklers became unseen architects of these domestic worlds, manoeuvring through silks of secrecy and whispered sighs, securing their place as invaluable members of their lord's private entourage. Their influence was significant, though spun like gossamer threads across whispered mornings. These daily rituals reverberated beyond the personal, casting feather ticklers into the fabric of Roman folklore. As ancient tales echoed through the ages, feather ticklers emerged as guides traversing the liminal spaces between reality and the ethereal. With their gentle ministrations, they became like Mercury, bridging realms, serving both the mundane and divine with soft strokes and murmured verse, figures that proved instrumental in both mythic and practical narratives threading through Roman night. Feathers themselves danced as symbols, with the peacock feather leading as a talisman of luck, prosperity, and divine connection. Their strokes spoke silently, articulating what words could not, introducing a language understood in textures and dreams. Perhaps no other figures were as adept at weaving through the consciousness of society, discreet architects of moods across whispered symphonies. While official histories may overlook their role, the legacy of the feather tickler hums softly in the echo of Roman voices. Their work, though uncelebrated in annals of wars and senate speeches, plays in soft counterpoint to Rome's grandeur, reminding us of a shared human experience. Waking, not as a simple act, but a gentle passage. Even now, these rituals summon echoes of tender connections, negotiated through whispers and feathered touches, storytelling their own, untold fables. Indeed, the feather tickler's art continues to murmur through the corridors of time, in every delicate journey from sleep to sunshine, thus preserving their craft in whispered antiquity. As darkness cloaks the ancient city of Rome, a peculiar ritual unfolds, a tradition both eerie and profound. In the shadows of crumbling marble and the glow of flickering lamp flames, ghost appeasers emerge. Shrouded in a mixture of reverence and trepidation, these specialists navigate the silent streets to perform sacred ceremonies intent on maintaining harmony between the living and the spectral. Their practices are a vital yet mysterious element of Roman society, offering solace in a civilization where ancestral spirits are believed to weave through everyday life, influencing the fates of the living. Ghost appeasers' roles are steeped in profound cultural significance, deeply tied to Rome's spiritual ethos. They guard the threshold between the seen and unseen, wielding arcane knowledge passed down through generations. From old widows, wise in the ways of spectral Rome, to lowly priests performing duties behind temple walls, these ritualists are shepherds of the city's delicate spiritual balance. They operate in a world where the boundaries of life and death blur, a shadow world underscored by the unseen presence of bygone souls yearning for acknowledgement or justice. During the festivals of Lemuria and Parentalia, the city immerses itself in rituals that underscore its fear and respect for the departed. These festivals are essential facets of Roman life, each reflecting different shades of their complex relationship with death and spirits. Parentalia is a time of quiet reflection, where families commemorate their ancestors, taking offerings of flowers to graves and speaking in hushed tones of praise and gratitude. The festival serves as a gentle reminder of familial bonds, a nod to their heritage and the wisdom of those who walk before them. In stark contrast, the festival of Lemuria crackles with tension. Amidst the echoing silence of the city, an atmosphere of anticipation and unease reigns. This festival's dedicated to repelling the malevolent lemures, spirits known for unrest and aggression. Here the ghost appeasers hold the stage, stepping forth to drive these spectres back beyond the veil. Their tools are simple, yet symbolic. Black beans tossed with precision, ritual chants whispered into the night, and talismans clutched close, all designed to placate even the most stubborn of spirits. At this juncture, ghost appeasers become commanding figures. They shoulder the daunting task of ensuring the safety of those who live under Rome's eaves. Their work is an amalgamation of tradition and necessity, a high-stakes dance where every step must be performed with precision. A misstep or a failed charm can have unsettling repercussions. Such failures echo through the collective memory of Roma, leaving stories of ritual mishaps and spectral vengeance to linger in whispered cautionary tales across generations. Among the annals of ghostly lore are accounts like that of Jacobus, a chronicler who captures the essence of appeasement's fraught nature. He writes of a family besieged by their failure to suitably expel a spirit during Lemuria, painting a picture of desperation etched into the city's consciousness. As panic seeped through the household, tales of the failed ritual transformed them into pariahs. Such experiences serve as potent reminders of the high stakes involved, where the slightest error can reverberate through a community, casting long shadows of doubt and fear. Yet despite their sometimes calamitous responsibilities, the role of ghost appeasers is held in a peculiar kind of esteem. In the thriving, tumultuous world of ancient Rome, their reputations rest on a mixture of awe, mystique, and necessity. They are community figures, wielders of ancient wisdom who command a unique respect as they bridge the visible and invisible. Society leans heavily on their whispered invocations, trusting in their ability to maintain peace with the spirits, crafting a subtle weave that adds another layer to Rome's intricate societal fabric. Ghost appeasers navigate a world ripe with contradictions. In an empire renowned for its military might and architectural grandeur, the coexistence with venerable traditions of ghostly appeasement reveals a city rooted deeply in both innovation and superstition. This paradox is stark within the various layers of Roman life, a civilization at the cutting edge, yet tethered to ages-old rites. Across different social echelons, this duality plays out vividly. Wealthy patricians might engage in elaborate rites of Lemuria, while the poorer communities adapt the rituals, retaining their essence amidst more modest surroundings. As we reflect on the legacy of ghost appeasers within the expansive narrative of Rome, their story echoes beyond antiquity. It lingers in the edges of the world's cultural memory, interweaving timeless themes of life, death, and the pursuit of peace. While the specifics of their chants and rituals may have faded, their presence is woven into the ongoing tapestry of human fascination with the unknown. This enduring dedication to spiritual balance resonates today, as echoes of these ancient practices surface in cultural traditions worldwide, reminding us of our perpetual journey to reconcile with the unseen. In wrapping up this exploration of ancient Rome's strangest occupations, we descend from the past, bringing with us tales of ingenuity and enigma, woven tighter by the ghostly murmur of history in our ears. If these stories resonated with you, help them reach others by liking and subscribing to support our ongoing unearthing of the world's forgotten pasts.